What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Fanis, aka Viper Magic, and today I want to talk to you guys about SummerSlam 2015. Now, SummerSlam has always been touted one of the big three, the other two being Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. And while this card on paper looked like it would be amazing, the execution of most matches was anything but. Overall, I'd have to say this pay-per-view was really bad. Let's dive into it. So it opened up with Jon Stewart being a guest host, and that was cool to see Jon come out. Mick Foley came out as kind of a guest, and what they were going to do is they were going to tag team an interview with Brock Lesnar. But then Mick Foley played this gimmick that he thought he said The Rock instead of Barack, and decided to chicken out, and the two of them just walked off. And that was the only in-ring appearance by Jon Stewart, save for one other element, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. Very weird way to start the show. A lot of the crowd just kind of stood there. I don't know if they're looking for some cheap jokes. I thought maybe they would continue more of the whole Mick Foley not understanding things, like, I thought you said Sting, you said The Ring, or whatever. That never happened. Mick Foley seemed to vanish. That arc, or whatever was going on there, just went away. So, unfortunately, the matches that followed weren't that great. I'm going to try to remember them in order, and I didn't write them down. I just have a list here of the card. I'll just go over a couple of the highlights. The Tag Team Championship match that had the Primetime Players versus the New Day versus Los Matadores versus the Lucha Dragons. I have always thought that these four-way matches or three-way matches sucked when not each team has a representative fighting at all times. Why you would ever want to tag in somebody else, or why the logic just completely befuddles me. And unfortunately, this match was again the same thing. You had some really cool action early on from the Lucha Dragons, which is totally expected. Those guys are really high flyers. They do a lot of amazing moves. You had a couple botches from the Los Matadores, which again I would expect because they're kind of B-list wrestlers. And then you had the crazy finale where Tychus O'Neil comes in and clears the ring. He's just a beast, as he always is, and I think he's amazing. I think he's very underutilized. And Kofi kind of tags himself in and somehow wins the match. It was just a frantic ending to a weird match. The tag team championships remain in disarray. Why you'd put the strap on the Primetime Players only to turn on and take it off to give it back to the New Day, I don't understand. The tag team division, if anything, continues to remain in disarray when you have hot tag teams like the 2 of 3 members of the Shield and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, who are smoking everyone left and right and having an amazing time and a lot of fan reaction. Why aren't those guys in the title mix? I have no idea, but unfortunately the tag team titles took a big step backwards again with the New Day, and you took it off of the Primetime Players, who once again will most likely get buried. So hope you guys enjoyed your 5 minutes of fame. I know I did. You're one of my favorite tag teams, but unfortunately back to the bottom of the pile for you guys. The Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev match was okay. However, the ending was horrendous. A double countout. Now, was Dolph too slow to get into the ring, or did he legitimately, was it by design to have a double countout? I have no idea. That feud is so flat right now, save for Summer Rae and Lana kind of scrapping a little bit, which is kind of interesting. They really needed to do a mixed match where you had, guy and girl versus guy and girl. That would have been a little more interesting, but this feud seems to be going nowhere fast, and unfortunately, a double countout during SummerSlam does nothing to put any kind of height or excitement on this match. There's no punctuation to the end of the match. This was just a stopgap and a filler to continue the story on future episodes of Raw and maybe into another pay-per-view. I don't know, but really bad design. Double tag out. What are you guys thinking? Double timeout? That's horrible. Well, the great booking didn't end there, unfortunately. What else? I'm looking at the list here. I'll talk about John Cena and Seth Rollins next. Now, that was actually a really good match. Seth Rollins continues to impress me with some of the most amazing moves. I saw the top rope super power, the super suplex, whatever you want to call it, to immediate roll up to get another move on John Cena. I thought that was amazing. I think Seth Rollins is just really good right now. I think the guy's on fire, and I know people say they're kind of sick of him from being in the Shield to kind of working his way up to main event status, but the guy delivers. I don't care what you want to say. The guy delivers. And when they book him as a legitimate threat and not some heel who's hiding behind J&J Security or behind Kane or Big Show or whatever, when he actually gets out there and scraps and they book him in that way, he does amazing work. Then you had Jon Stewart come out and go heel and blast John Cena with the chair, causing Seth Rollins to win. Okay, heel's going to use heel tactics to win. I'm not upset about that. But there was no follow-up with Jon Stewart after the event. Why did he do it? There was no interview with him. It just was so odd, and his motives made no sense. Was it a shocking moment? Yes. I know a lot of people immediately were excited because a lot of people are anti-Cena. I don't know why. But a lot of people are anti-Cena, and you have Seth Rollins retaining, now winning both championships. I don't know. I foresee this statue being built, and then at some point John Cena ripping it down with like a chain or something like that, or blowing it up or something. I'm sure that something like that's going to happen, because that was one of the stipulations. If Seth Rollins won, not only does he get to keep both belts, but he gets a statue of himself at the WWE headquarters. So I expect that to be a story arc. But the whole Jon Stewart thing, okay, but no follow-up, and that was the last time we saw him as a guest host. We actually, I think I just saw him those 2 times. Very bizarre. Just a missed opportunity and bad storytelling, in my opinion. But the match itself was all right, minus the finish. Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose. With Dean Ambrose versus the 2/3 of the Wyatt family. I don't know what they're doing with Bray Wyatt, man. This guy tanked another match, lost another match again. He's out. I don't know what they gain, they being WWE, gain by building this guy up with some of these epic matches, going after all these wrestlers, going after Undertaker, going after John Cena, going after now Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, only to get knocked out. I don't see it. His horrible booking, his gimmick, unfortunately means nothing. Even if he was booked at this point as a monster heel, I don't think it'd be believable because he just loses so much. And again, he lost another match, and it wasn't even that exciting of a match. I mean, there were some good spots in there, don't get me wrong. I think the energy between Reigns and Ambrose was amazing. I heard a rumor that maybe one of the two would go heel. That obviously didn't happen tonight. But to have another just kind of squash match almost and have the Harpers lose again, or the Wyatt family lose again, rather, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. Eric Rowan's, I know he's injured. He's taking time to recover. You're not missing much, buddy, because all that's happening is you, Luke, and Bray are just losing match after match after match. Bray will build up he's Death Incorporated, or he's some kind of crazy like Joker-esque villain where he's like raiding people's dressing rooms and, you know, getting in people's minds and all these mind games, and then this is what happens. Nothing. He falls flat again. Horrible booking. Horrible booking. One of the star matches of the night by far had to be Adrian Neville and my main man, the Green Arrow, up against Stardust and Barrett. Unfortunately, fortunately, Stephen Amell, very in shape guy, he did a lot of wrestling for a guest. I would not be surprised if you had told me that if I know nothing about this, that you would think he was just some new guy, because he sold those shots really well. He had a pretty good, obviously he took a lot of beatings and stuff, but he sold a lot of the moves really well. He had some pretty good offense, had a really good off the top rope spot. How he entered the ring at the beginning when he jumped off the top into that springboard right into Stardust's face. I thought that was really, really good. And my hat's off to him, man. I think this guy's got a career if acting doesn't work out. I think he was a really good wrestler, and he kind of got a lukewarm reception, which I was surprised about, but as a huge fan of the Arrow TV show, it was really cool to see him. I wish his in-ring attire more closely matched what was going on in the TV world, but I'm sure there was copyrights and all that kind of nonsense. I had hoped that he would actually battle in the actual Arrow gear, but it ended up just being a pair of like John Cena shorts. He had the hood though. When he came out, he had the hood, which was kind of neat. Neville got himself all wrapped up in his cape. He looked like an idiot. Whoops. So maybe the saving grace of SummerSlam was a guy that isn't even a professional wrestler. Take that for what it's worth. The Divas match, Team Bad versus Team PCB versus the Bellas. The exact same thing that's been happening for the last couple months happened. Team Bad gets dropped out almost immediately. Then it turns into Team Bella versus Team PCB. Usually it's Charlotte doing all the heavy lifting. This time it was the... I can't even think of the girl's name. Not Charlotte. Whatever the new girl. Not Nikki Banks. I don't even care. This is what I mean. I don't even care because it's so stale at this point. The whole Divas Revolution has completely fallen flat. Nikki and Brie and Alicia Fox are just getting beat up week after week after week. I'm seeing no advancement in this storyline in about a month and a half since it started. The title has yet to be on the line. I don't know where they're going with this. Sasha Banks has been completely buried. Tamina Snuka has been completely buried. Unfortunately, due to association. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. For what it's worth, Team PCB, it seems to be the highlight of this. I don't know if this is a glorified Charlotte push and everything else doesn't matter. I don't know. Paige has just kind of been lackluster in all this, but the star power on the Bellas has really dropped off, in my opinion. So Ryback versus The Miz versus The Big Show was horrendous, just like I thought it would be. Twitter was all over this match saying it's time for a bathroom break. I couldn't agree more. Nobody cared. Sheamus versus Orton. I was happy that Sheamus won clean. It shows that he's a legitimate fighter. Obviously, he's got the money in the bank. I don't think it hurts either of those guys' career, although the feud at this point, I'm not really sure what they're fighting over. I'd like to see them both move on to things that are a little closer to the heart, maybe. Seeing Sheamus still hold on to the money in the bank after tonight, it seems that he's not going to cash in for quite a while. I mean, maybe it's going to be like a WrestleMania cash-in. I don't know, but he kind of did the pseudo cash-in last week on Raw, and everyone thought, oh, cool, he's going to repeat it, but nothing really happened. I kept waiting when Seth Rollins came up, and he was like doing the both with both belts and everything. I thought that Sheamus would come around on like a sledge or something, but none of that happened. But it was a good match overall. One of the better matches of the night actually was Cesaro versus Kevin Owens, and I've been really, really excited about Kevin Owens. He did a very, very good job, and he beat Cesaro clean. It was a great match. Tons and tons and tons of flying maneuvers, lots of finishers, lots of specials, lots of modifiers. All in all, really, really good. I'm really happy for these two guys. And I know the history between the two. They used to feud a long time ago. And actually, back in the day, Kevin Owens was the face and Cesaro was the heel. So these guys are no stranger to getting into the ring and fighting. But I think both their star power definitely went up as a result of this. But keep in mind, they were fighting because they wanted to be next in line to fight for John Cena's belt. With that out of the way, I don't think this feud really matters anymore, and I hope that this puts an end to it and they both move on to bigger and better things. Lastly, and I did save this for last, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. What the hell happened? Okay, it was an amazing match through and through. It really was. Undertaker actually took I think about 6 suplexes, which I was surprised. I thought it'd be a lot more rolling around and grappling because Taker's getting pretty long in the tooth. He did go through announce table, the Spanish announce table. Once again, rest in peace. Shattered, which was amazing. Brock Lesnar put him in a pretty nasty I think it was an F5, a modified F5 or some kind of slam through the announce table. That was great. Then we get to the finish, and it all fell apart. So first of all, Brock Lesnar has Undertaker in the Kimura, the UFC move, and Undertaker taps. The bell rings, but the ref was counting, like 1, 2, but he only got a 1 count. Then the bell rings, and I'm like, okay. Now, at that point, I didn't see that Undertaker tapped, rather. So I was like, this is weird. So the ref turns around, he's like, what's going on? Which allows the Undertaker to do the low blow. Then he puts Brock Lesnar into Hell's Gate, and as Brock Lesnar goes to sleep, he gives Undertaker the finger and passes out. And then the ref says, oh, okay, well, now Undertaker won. They never really announced that Brock won the first time. Just the bell rang, so they officially announced The Undertaker winning at the end. Then they showed the replay, and that's when I saw that Undertaker had previously tapped, which was weird, and it was just a really bad ending. I think that's kind of the theme of this pay-per-view, just weird endings, weird storylines that really went nowhere. Why Brock Lesnar continues to be, where Undertaker continues to be a heel and low blow again, I don't know. For him to tap and then win, and it was just bad. Where's this going? When you have this many questions, guys, when you have this many questions at the end of a pay-per-view, you did it wrong. You did it wrong. People aren't hyped up about it. People aren't saying, oh my God, did you see that finish? Did you see this or that? It's like, what happened? Well, he won, but he didn't win. A shame, man. SummerSlam was really built up. We had this 4-hour extravaganza, and this is what we got. I wasn't pleased with it. I'm sorry. And again, like I said, if Stephen Amell is one of the stars of the night and he is not even a wrestler, ouch. Where is wrestling going to go from here? Obviously, I'll be watching it. I'll be, tomorrow's Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, they get some more questions and answers. But overall, I'd say this pay-per-view was a big, big, big thumbs down. What do you guys think about SummerSlam 2015? Did it live up to your expectations? Did I totally miss the ball on something? Were you just marking out to some of the crazy moments? Were you a big Jon Stewart fan and you just didn't care that he didn't come back and explain himself? And you're happy John Cena lost and Undertaker wins and hell yeah, Dead Man Incorporated is back in town? Or are you like me? You're a little more critical of it and you're saying, maybe this didn't really tell us the stories that I think we deserve to hear. As always, I'm going to thank you guys for watching. Please do me a favor. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about SummerSlam 2015. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.